Right. Hey, girl. Happy New Year's.
Hi, Happy New Year, all the way from across the pond.
Yes, you're in
Yes,
Germany, right?
I
No,
am in
I talked
Germany.
to so
That's
many
right.
people. Okay, I remembered.
Yes, I'm in Germany. It's quite warm today, so it's not like Germanesque, we would say. But because typically it's cold, but I'm about an hour outside of Munich
Mm-hmm.
and in a smaller town near Augsburg. And it's one of the oldest towns in Germany. There's a lot of history. But anyway, so it was crazy here on New Year's. Lots of
Wow.
fireworks, a lot of fun. Yeah.
What is it like there in like Germany? I've only spoken to people from Munich. Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it? Okay, so I've
Yeah.
only spoken to a few people from Munich, and they were over like during Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So they felt like it was very different. So I'm just like, how is it over there on New Year's?
Oh, girl, we could do a whole session on how different it is, but also how much the same it is. So, just a general overview. Actually, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about the differences. She's from the States. I'm from the States as well. And and the great thing is, of course, there's a lot of histories that influence the culture. There, of course, in the last 100 years, there's quite a lot of dark history. But what I love about going anywhere, I'm sure you know this too, that it's really the buildings, the architecture, the streets, everything says the history and the culture. But the people, wherever you go, your language or not, they have all of the same hopes and dreams and everything.
Okay.
Oh, that's just a general overview. When I first came, I didn't speak any German. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't speak a lot now, but it helps, of course, to speak at least a little bit. But I came over and didn't speak any German, and so it was an interesting time for Kim. That's for sure.
Wow. What is like the population? Is it predominantly white? Is it a lot of Asians? Like what is like what's like the demographic?
Well, I think the reputation is this kind of blonde hair, blue eyed Norwegian, you
Okay.
know, sort of Nordic. Nor I mixed Norwegian and Nordic together. Nordic. That's a new word we can use. A new culture. This Nordic sort but actually, I would say it's not so much Nordic as fair skinned. However, what I do love, and I didn't realize this, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s in the US, so that was very different as an Asian, a minority. I really that's a whole nother story. But here, growing up with this idea, I always thought it was predominantly white, it was predominantly fair skinned. But what I love about Germany is it's actually way more diverse than I
Okay.
thought it was. And when I say diverse, I mean diverse. Like we call the US the melting pot, but oh my goodness, girl, it's so diverse here. And it's a little bit like when you walk through the streets of New York in Manhattan
Mm-hmm.
or wherever, you can hear just automatically all the different languages and all the different accents. It's really cool. And then the other thing is that I also sort of had this idea of Europeans in general.
Mm-hmm.
Germans fit right into that. But it's actually, in my opinion, in my experience, quite different in many, many ways. Stereotypes are stereotypes, whatever. But in many ways, it's also quite different. Most of my friends who speak very good German, if not native German, are from other countries like
Oh
Turkey,
wow.
India, Spain, and yeah. So, and those are my closer friends.
Okay.
So, very diverse.
Interesting. I'm like a well-traveled person because I've been traveling since like I was like a little girl. So I just always find it very interesting just talking to different people from different countries and see how they're living and the
Yeah,
similarities, the differences, and what they show on TV is not like the full truth of
yes,
what the actuality is. And I'm just
yes.
finding it very, yeah. So I was speaking to one African, she's in Nigeria, and I had like a panel and I was telling her, you know, they always think I'm like African because I'm bald, because that's what they show us on TV. But in actuality, that's like they have the same similar issues as a black woman in America. Like they pride over their hair. So it's just very interesting if you like pick through the different topics, because what we see on TV, the movies, and now social media is able to kind of just break through and show you different lights. But before, they had you guys kind of messed up. I'm sorry.
No, it's funny you mentioned that because I just saw a few weeks ago. I don't know, and her name escapes me, but there's a TED Talk. She's African. I think she's lived in the States for a while. She's phenomenal, and she addresses this exact topic. That when she came over to the U.S. to go to university, even her roommates and the people she lived with. I don't remember exactly the whole story. She's phenomenal. I'll send you later the TED Talk, and she talks about all these stereotypes about music, and like she went to go turn on music. Her roommate thought she would be like doing this, music try thing, and she turned on Mariah Carey, and they're like, "Oh no, we want to hear what you grew up with," and she's like, I grew up with Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
And so it was really, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So that's why I'm just like, I have to stay. I don't even own a TV. It's been like 3 years. I don't own any TV. If there's like a movie night, it's like me going over a friend's house or we're going to the movies. But I don't watch any TV. I travel. I talk to people. I mean, I'm talking to you guys. And then the type of work I do, it's like a revolving door. I talk to various people. So, I don't even entertain the TV unless it's like the news, which I actually watch on like YouTube and stuff. But I don't even watch TV after me just traveling and talking to people and just like, this is not what they teach us in America. Like, why are they lying to us? So, it's just crazy. Interesting.
It is, yeah.
Oh man, I feel so refreshed.
You
are like my first one that I did this year, but I feel refreshed because I came back from vacation literally yesterday, not even 24 hours ago. But it's been a busy fourth quarter for me because there's holidays. I do personal styling and image consulting, so my clients are from Halloween to after Halloween. There's holiday parties, company holiday parties, awards. That's still going on now. I have a client that's going to be in New York Fashion Week, so I have to start preparing for that. So my fourth and first quarter are crazy.
And you're just go, right?
I mean, I'm pretty used to it, but now predominantly my clients are more private clients. Before it was usually the fashion brand, like the high fashion. So there's like seasons of high and low. So I have like a mixture, but most of them are personal. So they're more lenient. So that's why I'm able to block out, I want to take 5 days. Like I'm taking 5 days to just go somewhere warm and decompress, and that's what I did. But I just feel refreshed.
Good.
I feel good. I'm excited about this project. It's been very fun creating this.
I can tell you glow. I think you're a person that glows normally, whether you're in your bathroom or on stage somewhere or wherever. So, but you look very fresh and refreshed. Yes. And you look like you're ready to run for 2023.
Yes, I have a lot of things planned, especially this book I've been writing. Jesus Christ.
You're writing a book too?
I've been writing a book. It's going on a year in March. It's January. I'm looking at the clock like it's not just New Year's yesterday, but I've been writing a book since March, and writing is very I don't like writing like a lot. I'll write like little snippets or, catchphrases. I'm very witty with that. But I have like a special writing team. Like I knew I did not want to get rid of my writing team because writing is just not my strong asset.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, I've been in the process of writing a book. Thank God. So I finished the writing part.
Yeah.
And then now next is the design phase. But I have to like comb through and see what areas I want illustrations. And it's a very different book. I actually wrote two books in one. The second one is like a workbook that's compatible with the first book.
Okay. And
So
can you reveal
yeah,
what the book is about now? Yeah.
yeah. It's the process of how I do personal styling, like how to build your foundation style for your day to day. So my method is very strenuous. It's
Okay.
like more of like a life plan, like you're doing like a business plan for
Oh,
your
okay.
wardrobe. So it's like
Yeah.
very extensive where you're just combing through what you do during the week so it can align with your wardrobe, your message, how it should be intentional with it, your confidence, because I think confidence is like the pulse of any type of fashion, whether it's personal or high fashion. It shows. I have like a chapter focused just specifically on that. I have like worksheets of what you need to do, like, and I also have like case studies of different clients. The first chapter is me, because
Okay.
I practice it as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
the first chapter is me in my 20s, though not now, but in my 20s. And
Yeah.
then yeah, the following other chapters are other clients. One of them is a male, so males can read it too.
Yeah.
But it's just my method of just having a foundation fashion style on your front end and your back end, because your closet and the
Okay.
way you shop is also important too. So I include all of that.
Okay. It's like a 360 style sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
makeover,
Make
transformation.
transformation. I love it. Yeah.
So
I have a
yeah.
girlfriend who's starting to get into that. She's a little bit younger, and we were just talking. We one of the markets in Nuremberg, and she was talking about wanting to get into this sort of um, idea of helping others with fashion. She's very fashionable, and so it's interesting that how many conversations you have conversations with so many people, how much they all start connecting. I love that. So
It depends. It depends who like your target is. I will have to say the common thread with my clientele, they are
mhm.
decision makers, and
Yeah,
they're either married, or if they're single, they have like a business. So they understand like the inner workings of like a business, of commitment and time schedule and like stuff, like just how to operate a business. They kind of understand that, rather than someone that's just like, I want to look good, and I'm just like, well, you need to work on the back end as well. I can't just throw you stuff on. Like if that's the case, then
right,
I'll just do a photo shoot and I'll
right,
charge you a half a day, because that's how it works.
right,
But
right, right.
yeah, that's probably the commonality. I'm thinking back to my book. Yeah, no, each of them have a different a different story.
Oh, that's great though. That's great. And it's great that it all comes together, that you're able to put it and mesh it into one book. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
that's the
spelling
way.
out a word. I'm
Yeah.
spelling out a word and it's a concept. I'm spelling out each chapter is a word and it's a theme
Yeah.
that's following.
Very
So,
cool.
so yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I have to check it out. So yeah, it is great. It sounds like it's interesting, I think, with fashion specifically, because there's so much fashion on the
Mhm.
internet, that you're taking the approach from more almost, not to overplay it, but almost from a scientific view, instead of, like you said, here I'm just going to throw, a green sweater at you, look good in green and blue, and then done, because that's kind of the 12-minute fact we get, right? We see the
Yeah.
person, they're in a burlap sack, and then 12 minutes later, ta-da, they're all made
Right.
over. But the process, that sometimes it takes years to get
Right.
what you want. So it's nice that you're taking us back and
Mhm.
saying, okay, here's all of the method behind it. Here's how you have to think about it. Here's, unpack everything and then repack. So I like that. Yeah. You, yay.
So yes, I'm very excited. It's I don't think anyone understands how much writing is just like a lot for me. A lot. I had to get into a method of waking up every day in the morning and
Yeah.
just kind of just write. It was a lot. A
Good for
lot.
you. Oh, I mean, better your story in this way than saying, "Oh, writing's really easy for you, for me, and I
Yeah,
did this and this."
no.
And this." No, very few
No.
people can relate to that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
no. I will pay someone. How much do you charge? Great. I'm going to pay for it.
yeah,
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 writing is
exactly.
not my forte. Now, if it comes to
Yeah,
visual communication, that is my forte, but writing, no.
no, yeah, yeah.
No.
I hear you. I'm the same way with technology.
Oh, are you?
With yeah, with making certain things, I'm like, oh, this is it energizes me. And then the minute I have to like update my website or something, then I'm like completely drained. I need to hire
Yeah.
someone. Yeah, so I'm the
It
same.
can be time consuming, but they've been making
Yeah.
certain websites make it kind of like easy. I really like Squarespace.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I really like Squarespace. Yeah, it's just very simple. They have
Yeah.
templates for you, and then there's like other people that sell like premium ones that kind of just
Yeah.
make it very, very easy. But the Shopify is a bit, it's a bit little technical savvy,
That's
but
yeah. I like my developer. I'll
yeah,
have to admit. That's that's my template, the developer template I
right.
use. But yeah, so
Well, I
but
see you have nice little orange on. Some people do not understand color palettes, like their color, what looks good on them. And you have
okay.
like red undertones, so like orange is definitely
Okay.
inside your color palette.
Whew. The second I saw you in video, I thought, oh my God, I, I have to like, we need, 2 days with me to go through because I will admit for the visual and fashion,
Mhm.
and this is actually why my girlfriend from Turkey started talking about it because I was telling her I really need some help in this. The stuff that I do is typically behind the
Mhm.
scene, behind the camera, and when I do music and stuff like that, obviously it's only in a studio, so I can come in my pajamas with you know rolling out of bed. So this outfit here, I love. I don't know, to be honest, visually, if it's something that I should or should not be wearing, but everything that I wear special and not pajamas is memory making. It reminds me of where I traveled. This I bought in Paris. It was my. It's an emotion. It's not. Unfortunately, I just am not good with the visual, but emotionally, I go, oh, I gotta have that. Like it reminds me of something. Reminds me of my kids. Reminds me of travel. Reminds me of a song. Whatever. I gotta have that, and that's what this it's a little dress, but the blouse is. It
You
reminds me of
remind me
I'm in Paris.
You remind me
I,
of this one client I had. I think I spent like 6 hours on her closet inventory because she was just so attached to certain pieces. And I'm just like, what did we go over? What your body silhouette is? And I'm like, you want to put this on and you want to see the difference? So it was just a tug in a war with, memories and what fit best for her so she can get this position for her
right,
job.
right, of course.
And I mean, I didn't like throw it out, but I'm just like, we can get this altered so it can fit your body shape more flattering, or
Yeah,
you can just toss it because
yeah,
I mean, it's the altering is, I don't know how much that money is going to be because that's not my area, but
right.
those are the ultimatum. But some of them were just like, no, there's like
No,
too much rouging. Like you cannot alter this. This has to be thrown out. And I'm taking it with me because you're not going to go back in the garbage pail and,
and
try to
take
sneak
it
in the
out.
closet.
Yeah,
So yeah, you remind me of a client. I had spent like 6.5 hours just on the closet.
yeah, yeah. It's like Kim, take a picture. That's the memory you can have, and then it's done in the garbage. So, yeah. So that's what this is. I got it in Paris. It was my first time in Paris. I remember standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, sobbing. I was sobbing because I was so amazed, happy, thrilled, excited to be there. And I felt so privileged to be there. I just was like, I'm just this silly girl who grew up in middle America, and I'm standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. I was so humbled to be standing in front of this famous landmark. And that's what this dress reminds me. I could cry now. But yeah, that's great.
Well, yes. I'm just wearing a nice little vintage. This is my little thrift store. I go to thrift stores. I love thrift stores.
You would be a genius to take to a thrift store.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's very obvious to see that you are excellent at your job, because that's like, something. Yeah.
I'm like a child in like a candy store. So yes, I bought this at like a thrift store. And of course my earrings are from thrift stores.
Of course. Do you hand make them, or do you just do the design and have someone else make them, or both?
As far as what? My earrings?
Yeah.
Oh, I bought these from the thrift store, just like this.
Oh, the thrift store. Oh, I thought they were yours. Like you made them or something. But
no.
Okay. Yeah. They're beautiful though. Do you design? But I can imagine you designing your own wares, your own stuff.
That might be a next step. I want to get this book out the way. Jeez. I don't think anyone understands how much of like a drag this is. But I mean, I've restyled like garments where client will go into a store, will pick something out very simple, and then I'll sketch something out and then take it to my my person that does the sewing and reconstruct it and add on or take on. But as far as this, I mean, that's a sense of designing. It's called garment restyling or the garment reconstructing. But yeah, I've drawn out stuff and it's been produced for a client. I mean, I've also designed like a wedding dress for someone in 2020. That was like a big job for me.
Wow.
But I mean, that it's not something I don't think about. I mean, I do draw stuff out, but maybe, I don't know. I don't see myself staying in the New York, New Jersey area for long. I know for me, the hustle and bustle closer to my 40s, I want to be relaxed somewhere gardening and doing fashion. I don't see myself staying here very long. So if I do decide to design, it will probably, I probably will start somewhere within like 3 years. But yeah, I don't know.
You don't know.
We shall see. We shall see.
Right. What does the future hold for us?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Question. So you said you're close to your 40s. Do you mean in 10 years, closer to your 40s?
Yeah, I'm 34. I'm about to be 35 this year.
5. Okay, yeah. Because you look, you can tell maturity-wise, you're, mid 30s, but you look, people must tell you look super young. Like your skin is like porcelain. It's like perfect, it's like perfect. I mean, so you look like you stepped out of, a magazine. So when you, like, no way are you close to your 40s, but I remember, when I get close to 40s, I'm thinking about this. So I'm like, I got to ask her how old she is, because, you look like you're in 20s easily.
Yeah, I get that all the time. Young people approach me and I'm just like, no. If you are not over 30, no.
Yeah.
No.
Did they demand a CID? I would demand a CID.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's been a while. They think I'm 25. 25,
Yes.
27 is like my prime, and I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever that means.
Whatever you want me to be, officer.
That's
Oh, I'm gonna let you off the hook. Okay. Twirl my
oh,
visible hair.
yeah. Oh, I love 25-year-olds. Yes, officer. Then you must
Yeah.
love. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want me to be. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
So
it's good.
so yes, let's get into our little
So,
topic.
okay. I'm
How do you reinvent yourself as a woman? Because you're a woman older than me, but I've been around the block. I've been around the block.
I believe that. I believe that.
Man, I'm like, wow, how do I reinvent? I definitely reinvented myself these past couple of years, this pandemic. I think I've come
Yeah.
out as like a new woman because I've just been journaling my feelings, my thoughts, my ideas like every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And I just see like so much clarity in my mind. My mind is just not cloudy. I think I'm more communicative to myself and I know what I want. I'm very direct.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. I'm just more playful. I feel like me becoming more vulnerable with myself and communicative with myself has
Hmm.
definitely been a reinventing moment for me during this pandemic. Because before I was not. I've journaled before. This therapist introduced me to journaling back in 2013, but then I wasn't very consistent. I was just trying to figure out life, trying to explore, trying to find what I wanted with myself. But now it's just like I need to get back to me, my thoughts,
Hmm.
what I really want to be happy with, and just journaling, kind of just being able to look back. It's just been really good.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. That's, I mean, of course, for women reinventing ourselves, there's so much to say about it, right? Because women are really good at this. Um, in my opinion, I think one of the strongest characteristics that we have doesn't matter culture, doesn't matter age, doesn't matter, status. Women are really good at self reflection, at bringing ourselves forward. And so there's a lot to talk about it. If you ask me personally, I will be honest, I I never sat down to think. I wasn't as methodical as you. And I think that's the helpfulness of journaling is you can go back and remember your mile markers. For me, it really was life was put upon me and I allowed it. Good things happened and harder things happened, but
Right.
it shaped and formed me into a reinvention of myself. And I feel like every 8 to 10 years, that happened. Now, some major mile markers happened. In my 20s, I lived in Chicago. I was single.
Ooh,
Then I met, oh, yeah. And
Chicago is
yeah,
cold.
Chicago is cold, but it's awesome. I
It
love
is.
Chicago.
It
I
is,
love
but I just cannot do the cold. I can't do this cold. And
it.
I'm from New Jersey and I'm just like, I'm not outside. Leave me alone. Like leave me alone until it's warm
Yeah.
again.
When you walk out of the job clock and the wind just like whistles through your body,
Oh no,
it's like, oh,
it just punches me through my face and I'm just
oh.
like, "Oh no." Mm-mm.
It's just like, oh, why am I here? No, but in, well, in my 20s, it, it was such a evolution for me. It really was a blossoming for me. I grew up in middle America in the 70s and 80s in farmland, um, where Asians and minorities in general were such a minor 3% sort of thing. And I was adopted as well. So at that
Oh,
point
wow.
in the age of the US, it was very, and middle America, especially, it was very, very important that you become and celebrate American. Nobody was encouraged to keep their identity um, as coming from another culture, coming different DNA,
Mm-hmm.
and so it, Asian American wasn't a thing. You were American, and my family bought into that, that sort of steamrolling, I'll call it. And so in Chicago, it was the first time I was really around a diverse community that wasn't about color, it was about culture, it wasn't about gender, it was about people, because it was you had to, or you stayed alone in the apartment. So you had to force yourself get out to look for a job in the 70s, in the 80s and 90s. It wasn't media. You have to go take your paper resume and go door to door. Yeah, emails. It was just starting there, but you were forced outside more. You were forced to join community, where you could meet people and go to bars and clubs and social leagues. That was the big thing. The meetups were the big. And there I found that it really didn't matter. Everything else that wasn't a connector in personality, in laughter, in dreams, in vision was secondary. And that's not how I grew up. The first thing people always noticed was I had a flat face or I had slanted eyes. That was the first thing people would say to me. Here, nobody. It was like, oh, Kim, I love going out with you because you're fun. That was the connector.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I understand when people want to stay in their own communities, when it's culture or language, that's fine. But for me, I didn't want that. I wanted to diverse community. And then I got married and had our first child. And then my 30s was family. I suddenly was a mom. I had given up my career. And yeah, and I had 3 children in my 30s and got divorced then in my 40s. So every kind of 8 to 10 years, every decade, I can say, was a reinvention. But for me, it wasn't purposeful. It wasn't like, I love women who say, just like you, who say, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing now. I was more kind of like, oh, suddenly I'm pregnant. Oh, suddenly I'm married. It sounds really stupid, but that's really how life brought me along. I didn't do a lot of things with purpose until I reached my early 40s. And then in that time, when my marriage started falling apart, I realized I need to take control of these reins. Because I only have myself to blame. Ultimately, yeah, there were things kind of put upon me. Of course, always are. But in the end, the bottom line was I'm allowing this life to keep steamrolling me. And so I did do that with more purpose, more forethought.
That's interesting that you stated is like you reinvent yourself from between the years of 8 and 10. I don't think I've yeah, and I'm just thinking about it. I'm just like, I don't think I do that so often. I'm thinking back to of like my whole lifespan and all of my youth. I was actually a child athlete. Very surprising. I ran track and fields. I did AAU track and field. I was even in the Junior Olympics. And that's
Wow.
what, yeah. So like I was a hardcore like athlete. So that's why my mind state is like very like, no, I'm going to get this done because it's just embedded in me since I
Yeah.
was an athlete. That just stopped when I was like 16, 17. And then that's when I just started my discovery. Like, I don't want to be an athlete. I want to venture out to do something else. And that's just me just trying to figure out, where do I fit in?
Right.
Yeah, that took quite a while. It took quite a while because I just kept stumbling in the fashion industry, and I just was not liking different sectors of the fashion industry. The first one was modeling. Modeling is no.
Okay.
Is a no for me. That was a hard no. PR, celebrity styling, I've assisted for that. I just kept stumbling into trying to figure out what was my footing. And while I was doing that, I also was like pursuing my health degree. I have a health degree, not even a fashion degree. So I've just put my hands in so many pots. I was just trying to figure out, because my life was so circled around being an athlete. They thought I was going to be an athlete. But I just was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I have a change of heart.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. So that just had me thinking, like, man, do I change every like decade? And I'm like, I don't think so. Because I haven't in my 20s. I was just so all over the place. I had a ball in my 20s. Do not get me wrong. But yeah, I was very all over the place in my 20s. I was traveling. I know my mother was very terrified, because she was just like, what is my child doing now? What state are you in? I'm like, oh, I'm in New Orleans. And they're just like, oh my God. Please let us know when you get back. So I was just very all over the place in my 20s. Very all over my place. Friends are just like in and out. It's a very small circle of friends that stuck by me. Because I just would have a change of heart. And I'm just like, I'm not really feeling this. And then the common ground would just be broken. And I'm just like, on to the next. And I'm just like, I'm not waiting for you guys. Yeah. This is not what I like, or you're taking too long to respond back. So I'm going to go. Like, I'll be a lonely wolf if I need to be. So that, I just find it very interesting that you said 8 to 10 years. And I'm just like, I don't think that works for me. I feel like I was so all over the place in my 20s, but it's okay. Yeah. Thank God my parents afforded me a life until I was 25. So half of my 20s, they paid for it. So I did all of the mistakes I could possibly do. But I'm gonna have to say the age 27 was like, all right, I'm tired of just trying to figure out and just guessing and just throwing stuff up at the wall. It's like, all right, we have to stay with something, because I don't like not being unstable or having like a foundation laid flat. Right. So yeah, that's when I started just doing like the inner work. I'm definitely going to say around the age 27. I don't know what it was about that year. Everyone kept saying 25 is going to be like your midlife crisis. I'm like, whatever. I'm living in Miami.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think I changed myself so frequently in my 20s. Yeah. It just led me to just say, all right, girl, we need a foundation. Because every 18 months, I lived in a different state. I moved 7 times in my 20s.
Oh, my God.
So that's why I said my parents, I knew I drove them insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm only thinking of like, if my daughter, so she's 18 now, if she starts coming to me, and I'm going to start knowing the signs of, Mom, I'm like, okay, now I know. Yeah.
So, yeah. Just trying to figure it out.
Did you consider yourself like a wild child sort of thing?
No.
Or was it more that you were interested in changing your scenery, Miami, New Orleans, this?
Definitely not a wild child. It wasn't like I was getting in trouble or getting locked up, or I just was like, I want to see what you said,
did you get bored like of this current status? So you wanted to change?
No, I just
Like,
wanted to just explore. Like, oh, what's that over there? Let's see. Oh, I visit Texas, so let's move over there.
yeah,
I don't know. I just was curious, and I was just like, let's see. I have no kids. I have no boyfriend. It's at certain locations, and I was just like, oh, let me go over there. I have the money, like whatever. I can get up and
whatever.
go. The job that I
Yeah,
have, I can get up and go. Transfer my license.
yeah,
I just was like, let's go see. Let's go explore.
yeah.
I've got up and go when I was doing track and field because I was traveling. Like I stated, I was in Canada. I've been to Texas traveling for competition. So it was like a constant moving around. I was used to. So I was just like, oh, well, I was over here and I was little. Let's see what it's about when I was an adult. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just was exploring. It wasn't like I was getting in trouble, getting
I
locked up or anything. I just was like, oh, let's see what this is. I know the state that I did not like was Texas. I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'll call my
okay.
parents up 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'm driving back to Florida. I'm just letting you guys know. And they're like,
Right.
what? And I'm like, I don't like it here. I'm out.
That was my next going to be my next question. Of all the places in the 20s that you lived, what was your favorite and what was the worst? Texas, now we know.
Yeah, Texas,
What was
I
your
did not
favorite?
like. Texas, I did not like. I stayed with my friend in Houston because she was
Okay.
in Houston and she
Oh,
had just moved anyway. This is like my high school friend. Well, we
okay.
grew up like all throughout our childhood. So she had just moved and she was like, "Oh, great, well, come." So I helped her, and I also helped her with groceries and stuff like that. And we were just looking around like. I was just like, girl, you gonna stay here? She's like, well, I got this job. It's paying for my debt because she's an engineer. So she's just like, I
Yeah.
have to stay like a certain amount of time. And I'm like, girl, I don't know about Houston. We
Oh, that's
gonna
so funny.
see.
I
So so then
loved
I
Houston. That is so funny. I loved Houston.
um yeah, I don't know. The people were nice, but I don't know. It was just like, girl, I'm a hot tamale. Like, where the action at? I
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
like, what is
Yes.
going on?
It's
They
done
just
by like 8:30. Completely quiet. I noticed that. Yeah.
yeah, no. And then then I went to Dallas, which is like that's a strong 4 hour commute. There is no
Yeah.
shortcuts. I was like, Jesus Christ. That town was just very family oriented.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
family oriented, and the activities were just structured around a family and a child, like a family or a mother and a child. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't have this, so this ain't for me. So I was just like, yeah, no, I'm out. I'm out. I met a lady at the because I go to library. I'm like a nerd. And she's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you seem like a nice lady. You don't have like I don't see you with like kids. And I'm just like, girl, I'm about to move.
Yeah.
If you want to keep in touch, but I don't like it here. I'm gonna be leaving. But yeah, it's just yeah, Dallas was very family oriented. It's not a bad place, but it was a lot of people from Arkansas as well. Arkansas and Oklahoma. But yeah, it's very family oriented.
Yeah.
Las Vegas was fun.
I
It's
love
like
those.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
nice little place to like hide out and clear your mind. I loved driving in the morning and seeing like the mountains, the sunset behind the mountains, and kind of just I don't know. It's just very mesmerizing. It's
Yeah.
actually cold during like these months, like
Okay.
around 40s and stuff like that. But the summertime, your electricity bill is going to be insane.
Insane.
But yeah, I liked Las Vegas. A lot of people are like, "Why are you here?" And I'm just like, "I like it. Like it's cool. It's a lot of Indians. It's a lot of I met like Indians who have like the reservation land. What do you call it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like having like a conversation. It's like very cool. Like I like it. Phoenix is okay. I didn't live in Phoenix, but I drove there because the drive
Okay.
is I loved Miami at the time I was there. When I went back
Okay.
there, they are like rebuilding, and I'm just like, what is going on over here? You guys are trying to push out all the poverty people out, and I'm gonna have to say my favorite is Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah.
That really surprises me. Okay, well, I have a good friend here in Germany who's from Maryland. What about Maryland is so out of all of the
I
areas you
know.
lived? Yeah.
It's a constant thought, but I love the food. I
Okay.
like the culture, like the melting
Okay.
pot between like the Maryland DC area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um in like the age gap, like there's a lot of kids because that's like one of the states with the most amount of universities within a miles radius, and then there's also
Yeah.
like a lot of elderly people. Like I like elderly people.
Okay.
um I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of like activities that's compatible with any type of person, whether you're single, whether you're business, whether you're in school. Like there's enough activity for everyone. It's also just a hot spot if you want to go to like concerts or stuff like that.
Okay.
um and I don't like too much chaos. Like everyone loves New York, and I'm like, I
Ah, I
don't
love
like New
New
York.
York.
Yeah, I'm
It's
a
my
little bougie Betty, so I don't like the gritty, the dirt, the rats. When I see that, I'm like, girl, I'm getting an Uber. I will meet y'all there. I don't like
yeah.
it. I'm bougie.
Oh,
They call me Betty Bougie. That's what my friends call me. I don't care. Yeah, I'm one of those girls. When I'm holding on to a rail, I have a napkin like in between my hand and the rail. Like I'm just
okay. Yeah.
uh-uh.
Yeah. Yeah. Not licking a flagpole or anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just see like so many nasty stuff. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
the homeless people having sex on the trains. I'm just like, I'm not touching this stuff.
Yeah. I understand. I understand that. I always tell people New York, I Chicago will always be my home, but
Mhm.
New York is my favorite West city. I
Really?
really I love it. Central Park. Oh, Central Park in the summer, laying underneath the tree, watching the, hot guys and girls playing baseball and or softball or whatever, and the carriage rides. But you're right. I mean, of course, with that many people, it's there's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's just
some
a
grime.
lot going on. Yeah, I don't know. I just like the Maryland, D.C. area, the hot, and also the hospitality. That's like the number one.
Okay.
I want to be able to
Okay.
say hi to my neighbors and not just like walk past and just
Yeah.
like, hi neighbor, how, like I want to say hi. Like there's just too many crazy people around me. I want to at least know who the heck is around me. I don't need to have like a full-blown conversation with you, like just a hi, a wave.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen your son like over there. Like I want that, and you don't
With
really.
more familiarity. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So but yeah, I just, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah,
Well,
surprising.
we
Yeah.
can't be roommates. However, we could just go visit each other. How's
Yeah.
that?
Yes. But yeah, those are my favorite. Those are, yeah, I'm had to say those are my favorite. Man, I've been to
Yeah.
so many places. Georgia's also on the low end of the list.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I've
Um, no.
never I've heard
Um,
about it though. So
yeah, it's a lot of north now. It's like a lot of northerners are moving down there. So
okay.
the real estate is definitely in fluctuating, and also the pricing. But I don't know. I just, everything is very like spread out.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything is like spread out, and yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was just overhyped a lot.
Yeah.
But Miami is definitely up there. But yeah, Maryland, I think I had more of a
Okay.
ball because I was there for college, and then I went back there in my late
Okay.
20s. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I would consider this like home.
Home. Yeah. Okay. So, do you think that'll be where your garden is and your fashion?
Yeah, that could probably be, because I mean, I could take the Amtrak to New York. Like that's a easy
Yeah.
commute for me to
Yeah.
go. But yeah, that can be like a strong potential.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Do you ever think you would live outside the US?
That is one of the regrets. I should have followed myself. I wanted to live somewhere for like 18 months overseas. I wish I studied abroad, but I wanted to like live, like have an apartment, have a job, try to learn a
Yeah,
language. That's like one of my regrets. I wish I would have done.
you, but it's not too late.
I don't know.
It's not
This
too.
I don't know. With this pandemic, it's just shifted so many people's
Yeah,
rules and regulations, and I'm just like, it's just so much to keep up.
that is
Um,
true.
so
The world,
I don't know.
yeah, the world has changed for sure.
It's definitely changing, and they definitely don't show you everything. Because I watch like the international news as well, but yeah, it's just constantly changing. I don't know anybody over there, so it's just like I don't know what's going on. I don't want to get like stranded or stuck or anything. So
Yeah. Well, you know me. Now you know me. And
yes.
Germany is central. Germany is central. So if you move to France or, Spain or Poland or wherever,
Hmm.
where Germany's one of the central, it's not like, Portugal where you have to travel a long way. So just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
Yes.
Now you know me. So that's a
Yeah.
start.
Yes. But yeah, that's like one of my regrets. I definitely wanted to do that. I think I tried to convince my partner at the time to do that, but he's like, are you flipping insane? I'm studying to be a doctor and you want me to go overseas? And I'm like, come on, stay.
They need doctors too.
And he's like, are you flipping crazy? And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, that was like one of my things I wanted to do. But
Yeah,
it didn't happen. So I traveled all over the United States.
that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
So
The
that was,
U.S.
mhm.
enough that it's really, it's so big. So yeah,
Yes. So those are definitely the ways that I've reinvented myself. I'm going to have to say definitely just journaling now, but previously, child, I was just moving a lot and just experiencing different people, whether it
mm-hmm.
was a long-term bond or just an immediate bond. But that is my way of reinventing myself because I was just so curious.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think I'm a person. I don't know about you, but I think I'm a person wherever I've moved to, whether it's been Chicago, my 20s and my 30s. I was out in Connecticut, which are where my children are, and my ex-husband, and then Germany. I think I take on and absorb wherever I'm at. I'm sort of a chameleon in that
Hmm.
way. I don't know if it's a leftover from childhood because I spent, my formidable years trying to always blend in.
Hmm.
And so that kind of carried over to what I do now. Or if it's my personality, I love being a part of things.
Hmm.
I'm a natural people pleaser, which just has, advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is wherever I go, I like to blend in and kind of absorb where I'm at. There's a lot of disadvantages too, of course, which I've learned. But yeah, so I think in the whole reinventing or that sort of, again, I don't want to pretend like I thought about it or journaled it or did a timeline or a vision board, but I think absorbing wherever I was at helped
Hmm.
kind of, um, carve out a path for me. So
Yeah, I
to
could
reinvent.
definitely agree with the absorbing everything. I think I've absorbed so much from my childhood into like still now. Like no one ever knows where I'm from because the way I talk, they say I talk like slow or with a drawl, and I'm like, no, I'm from New Jersey. I'm born and raised, and they're like, really? Um, and of course the way I dress, like I just pull from like different people, even from like a homeless person, the way like they wrap like their scarf, I kind of still like examine it because they're trying to stay warm, but I'm like, this looks pretty darn good. Had he done that, I want to pull from that. So I don't know, I am I know I'm crazy, but yeah, I just look and absorb from everything. I grab from that when I travel. That's why I
Yeah.
don't even really like taking pictures, and everybody's just like, why don't you take pictures? And I'm just like, no, I want to live in the moment. Like,
Right.
Let me draw
Right.
inspiration from that, because I mean, my job is my intellectual property. It's my creativity. Like that's where I draw from. So yeah, I definitely have drawn and absorbed from every place that I have been to my whole entire life. I think I have, definitely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you reinvent your female friendships?
Ooh, that's another good question. So again, as life happened to me in my 20s, I was more purposeful because I had moved to a city that I only knew one person, and she was quite busy, and so I had to kind of go out. A lot of my girlfriends at the time, my good friends, were at my job. So social media was not a thing then. We were just getting into email, like, oh, an
Oh my
email
God.
came. Wow, that's so cool.
And the
You have
dial up,
AOL. Yeah, you have AOL. What's your AOL address?
the AIM
So,
names.
and MySpace. I mean, it was all so like,
New.
cool and new. Yeah, it was very new. So, in that way, um, the inventive part was more based around work. We traveled together. We got stuck in Tijuana together,
Oh
things like
wow.
that. Oh, yeah. So, and then that was at a conference in San Diego. Names, I will not say names to protect the guilty, which I'm one of them. And then in my 30s, when I had children, my girlfriends were moms.
Okay.
So it was a complete reinvention. Some maintain their careers, which I will give a plug, please, that if you have a career and you love it, maintain it. just just do what you can to carve out some time for you. But anyway, that's my little mom plug. So my girlfriends were moms. Some of them were stay-at-home moms like me, had given up their career, that type of thing. Others had the dual job. And then as my kids got older in my 40s, moving to Germany, here I actually it's different, of course, because I didn't speak the language. So there was quite a bit of loneliness, um, and quite a bit of learning curve,
Yeah.
because German culture is very different in these ways. So getting back to full circle, right? Your original question about what is different. That is one of the things that's very different. The outlook, or the Germans say the Ausblick from life,
Right.
is they are very different than how Americans look at life. And so when I moved, this is my second city. I used to live in a city near Cologne, and now I live in a city near Munich. I started a women's group
Okay.
because I found that we call ourselves the Proud Mary. So, we're like, oh, the Proud Marys. And every time, of course, Tina Turner sings, we have to like we were at Oktoberfest, and they were doing a cover. The cover band, the band there was doing a cover of Proud Marys,
Hmm.
of Proud Mary, and we're like, we were singing anyway. Um, so because I found that it wasn't that easy here to reinvent that went beyond superficial topics of travel or food or I love all those topics and they're great. But after 6 months of meeting
Hmm.
people, we were still talking about that, and we were talking about like how does that affect your daily thought process, or
Right.
how did what happened to you in childhood affect your decision now, those types of things.
Hmm.
So we get together once every month or once every 3 weeks. It's been going on for about a year now, and they have become, quite honestly, some of my very closest friends, because immediately they're from different cultures. Some are married, some are divorced, some have kids, some don't. Turkish, Indian,
Hmm.
German, Spanish. But what has brought us together is this idea, just as you said, of reinventing yourself, to not just because you crave something different, but you're really wanting to become a better version and more stable. So, and to be grounded, you have to have other people as well. That unless you're kind of a flag, blowing in the wind. So they have become, and that's how I did it. It's the first time in my life where circumstances didn't happen and then I made the best of it. I went out and made the circumstances. I formed this group, and now we happen to be, we see each other probably once a week. We talk almost every day, and we've reinvented these close relationships out of necessity, but also out of love as well.
Right.
And that's the foundation.
Okay. I'm like in the midst of just trying to figure out how to reinvent my friendships because there's like a disconnect. I'm like the only one that has no kids, no husband. So I'm like the single one, and my only child are my plants in my business. So I'm able to just, Yeah. So I'm like, my earrings, of course. So I'm like able to just like kind of get up and go whenever I please. And they're kind of like grounded and need to be nurturing and stuff like that. So there's just been like a disconnect, and I'm just like, I just had to come to terms that I have to just let them be because they have their priorities are switched around, and mine are just very different compared to a married woman. So I know one of them, we had like a heart-to-heart conversation, and she's just like, well, I'm at the age where I really need to be there for my child because one of them is like 10 years old. So it's like a very impressionable year. So she was able to kind of just break down because I don't have any kids. I don't babysit. I'll take your kids for a couple of hours, but I'm just not cognizant of the things of operating as a mom or as a wife and stuff like that. So she was able to kind of just give me insight of her household specifically. She's not talking in general. And I said, okay, I understood. I wasn't mad. We didn't, break away as bad, but everyone else is kind of, it's been like months or going on a year, and it's just like a disconnect. So I don't really have an answer for me as a mid-30s woman. Because as women, like, we take on the responsibilities of being a mom at different times. And I know for me, speaking for me, I always knew that I did not want to be a young mom, like in my 20s. Because there was one point in time I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a mom. And then that kind of just turned over to, okay, well, I don't want to be a young mom. I want to at least get all my mistakes out, be a good role model, and have like my finances and things in place so I don't struggle or just have any difficulties. And I also just wanted to have a family. I don't want to be a baby mother. I want to be a wife and then a mother. So those were like, I knew I wanted that. So yeah, there's just been a disconnect, but I'm okay with it now because I have an amazing team, a part of my business where we are able to, talk. Like I have like weekly sit downs or monthly like dinners where we're able to just not talk about work and just talk about life. So I have like a great community. I know there's like a distinction that I define it, but I have a great community that I think I'm pretty fine with my friends kind of just doing whatever they need to do. If we come back together, if we don't, but I don't know. I don't have like a definitive answer now because everyone's priorities it's just different. It just all depends on a woman's priority. But if I meet like a new friend and where we go out, because I like one-on-one, like I like going out, I like experiences, I love experiences. If you can't tell, I love going traveling, road trips, stuff like that. I just really love no phone, put your phone down, turn it off. Like I just like that, and keeping that up is very important to me. But yeah, I don't really have like an answer at this moment because my
Okay.
friends currently just, it's just been a disconnect due to them being mothers. Some of them are wives and mothers. And I'm like just single with a business and I'm able to just kind of just go. So it just all depends on a woman's priorities, what's high, what's low, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. And then I was just talking to someone about the age group between 30 and 35. It is an interesting time for someone that doesn't follow the quote unquote model of what society does. It is an interesting time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you have different, I mean, even just the basic superficial stuff, you have different things you talk about. You have different times of the day you are available and not available, and that sort of thing. So, um, it is an interest for sure. So,
Craziness. So we have an eavesdropper on our conversation.
okay.
Can I get this?
Hello, eavesdropper.
Yes. All right. Hey, girls.
Hi.
And so, what do you do to reinvent yourself in your friendship?
Okay, so I like to express myself through makeup and fashion, and I think that's a good way to kind of step out of my comfort zone and really explore new things and discover new things about myself. As far as friendship, I like to really stress communication. I think that's a really good way to really deep dive and create really good friendships.
For myself, I like to write down like stuff that I like and like note things that I really like about myself and things that I want to change. And for friendship, communication too, like definitely communication.
I'm definitely going to have to agree with all the girls.
Yes, for sure.
All the girls. Yeah, if I would come across a friend currently, like now, yeah, communication, I would definitely have to like lay out because everyone's communication skills is like different. I think I'm going to make a specific topic on communication styles because everyone has, I hate texting. When I mean I hate texting, It just interrupts my thoughts. Cause I'm like, when you are like around me, you'll see like how disgustingly creative I am. Like, it's just, I just will sit there and like, while I'm waiting for my food, like I'll just doodle, like draw or like write. I don't know. It's just crazy. But, texting just interrupts my thoughts. I don't know if it's good message, bad message. Like, I don't want you interrupting my flow. And then also a lot of people just take words and context the wrong way. So the translation gets lost and I'm just like, I'm not responding to this, or I'm not starting an argument with this. Like, if it's a text message, I'd rather it just be like, hey, I'm running late. Sorry. Or, I'm behind, or call you in at like stuff that I don't need to respond to, or you're just letting me know. Yeah, I hate texting. And a lot of people are just so accustomed to texting or having conversations via text message. And I'm just like, hey, I'm not a texter. I've addressed this initially because I'm like a very forthcoming person. Yeah, please let me know when you want to talk over the phone or you want to meet up for coffee and stuff. So yeah, I hate texting. A lot of people like texting. That's not one of my styles. I don't care what it is. I get so many emails, or like I just don't like texting at all. That's not my communication style.
Yeah, I understand. I think one of the things that I think of when trying to form close friendships, this is different, of course, than the texting friendships, like, oh, let's meet for coffee, in 2 months or whatever. But actual friends is communication. But like you said, communication is often misunderstood or that type of thing. I think you also have, for me anyway, I think a lot of it is vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
It really is really being open to say, okay, now this is assuming you already have, this isn't like, someone you just met in a bar or whatever, but you already talked, you already go, okay, I want to start forming a friendship. How is the best way to do that? Whether it's texting or whether it's phone call or whether it's email, is being vulnerable with each. We talk about this in the women's group. Yeah, it involves trust. It involves disappointment. It involves all of the things that we're scared of about ourselves and about other people. But in the end, that is what a lot of people are not doing with each other, because for whatever reason, social media, whatever the trap is that we don't, we're not being vulnerable anymore with each other because we're afraid of being understood, or we were never even taught. A lot of us were never even taught. We had no good role models, or we ourselves were blind to it, whatever the reason. But we found kind of socially in our small little group that what got us there, or to the start building a really strong friendship, was vulnerability. It's not a guarantee, of course. There's no guarantee, because I always say people are wild cards. The minute you think you have someone figured out, you go, what? Did not expect that.
Right.
But in the end, the life is, and the pattern of communication, everything is about you, about the individual, and not about the other person. It's about your character. It's about what you reflect to the world and to the person in front of you. So we found out that's one thing that's really missing in society and with friendships, and even with family relationships, is just going back and being vulnerable with each other.
I think it all kind of just boils down to communication, not in a style way, but just laying down what the meaning is. Like how I shared the example of my friend, was telling me a snapshot of her household and how she's, preparing her kids for certain things, and this is why she needs to be there. So every definition, like how I define friends, it may be different from your definition or someone else's definition. So I think it all just kind of plays out to communicating what stuff means to you, or your perception of it, and what you're trying to, pursue or aspire to be of it. And I don't think people are really like defining it within themselves and then kind of just articulating it to whoever that person is. I think that's what the top priority is, maybe for a lot of people, not for everyone, but I definitely think it's that. I think it's also just social media and just texting and the phone in general, where people are just so content with just say, oh yeah, I talked to them, and I'm just like, how did you talk, over the phone or did you text them? And they're like, oh, I just text them, I just shoot them a text message. And I'm just like, that's not really talking to them. You're not getting the mood, you're not getting anything from it. You're just looking at a screen and just not evoking any emotion behind it. Like, that person could feel a way. That's probably why they come in the room looking like this, because they didn't want to have that discussion over a text message. Whether if you called them, it would have been a different story. But I think it all just kind of relays on the essence of communicating what stuff means and then expressing it or exchanging it with the other person.
Yeah, I agree. I'm amazed at how many stories I hear of people like breaking up over text. Like, that's such a common thing now. It blows my mind that people have these hardcore conversations via WhatsApp. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's why I'm like very forthcoming. I just exchanged my number with someone last month.
Okay.
I went to an event and the girl was just like, hey girl, so we're just chit-chatting at the bar. Yeah. She's like, you seem really cool. I want to exchange numbers. And I'm like, okay, but how do you talk to your friends? Do you text them or do you call them? She's like, oh, that's a weird answer. That's a weird question to ask. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It's an appropriate question.
Right,
She's just like, oh, I do both, but I was like, but what is your preferred one? She's like, oh, I'd rather just text. And I'm just like,
right.
that's not gonna really work with me, and I'm not really interested in building a rapport with someone who's just gonna be my friend via text message. If that's the case, then I'll just stick to social media. She kind of just looked at me puzzled and was just like amazed, and I'm just like, that's not how you build a friendship. And we had to go back because it was like a speed dating type of thing. And when that event was over, she kind of was like, I thought about what you were saying. And she was just like, that's probably why my friendships are like crumbling, because we're not really like talking. We're like texting. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why when you asked me that question, you said, you rebutted me with, oh, that's a weird question. No, it's not. It's a logic question.
Right.
And maybe it's made you think about your current ones. But yeah, no, I'm like very straight up. I don't want to waste my time. So if you don't like my questioning, I know I kind of make sure I don't say rudely or anything, but yeah, no, a lot of people break up via text message with their friends, or they curse them out. And I'm just like, girl, I'm not, you're not talking to me like this via text message.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. I mean, really, if you think about it, it's really a question that should be asked more. What's your mode? What's your go-to? It really should be a question actually that should be asked more and not less, I think.
Yeah, I am just not. I think my last text messages were my parents wishing me a happy New Year's. But before that, I think my last one was like a client. Yeah, I don't get text messages like that. People, I can hand you my phone and you can like see, like, I don't text like that. Like, texting is just not. I've always been like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it definitely makes me think. Sure. So, yeah, I prefer person to person. I just always prefer. I just always prefer. I was super impressed when you said you and your friend got together. Maybe there were some hard topics you had to talk about. Maybe it was fun. Maybe whatever it was, whatever full life encompassed, you were looking at each other in the eyes. And I just prefer that.
Yeah, that particular friend, we always have like our girls' night out like once a quarter. I met her with kids. I met her with she was on kid number 2 and they were little. So I've always known her as a mom, but now they're as she said, in their impressionable years. But yeah, we would have like our girls' night out once a quarter. That was enough for me, because I'm not really a friend that you need to talk to every day, every week and stuff like that. So we would meet up once a quarter at a restaurant or at a spa or whatever the case may be, and we would have like 4 hours to ourselves. And her husband will let her go. He'll know, oh, you're with MiKARA. Oh, okay, that's MiKARA. We know MiKARA. And we would just have those conversations where we're just being girls, and we're just, just having like all types of conversations. We're able to have those conversations. I know one of them I thought was going to be ugly, which it wasn't, because she's more of the religious type of girl. Like, she goes to church. I don't like the business of church, but I do believe in God. So there's just certain things that I do not like that certain religious people do. And we were able to kind of just have discussion. I think something happened and we were just having a discussion. I thought it was going to be an ugly conversation due to, my view of the church and how she's like, how she goes. But it was just an honest conversation. She actually she resonated. She understood, why my views were and my backstory of why I'm just like, I'll go to church for special occasions, but I just kind of just side-eye like how, the religious people kind of just look upon you if you do a certain thing. And majority of them, they've done it as well. But now that they're saved by Jesus, like, it's like a shield and a covet. And they look down at you, and I just don't like that. But we were just able to have like an honest conversation, and she just kind of understood where my views were. But I wasn't downing them. I just said I just don't like the business of religion and church. That's it. Like, I'll go. I believe in God. I pray. I talk to him. I thank him. But I just don't like the business. But yeah, that conversation was, yeah, it was like refreshing. I was just like, oh, I thought this was going to be like a bad take.
Right.
She was just like, no, I understood. Like, I'm like, yeah, this was a great discussion.
Yeah. This is how mature adults handle
Yes.
things. Yeah. That's good. That's great.
Yes.
Friendships.
I'm trying to think, what's the longest friendship you had? Now that you're in Germany, do you still keep a contact with the friends in the US?
Yes. I mean, most people know because when I got divorced, a lot of my friends had disagreed with me. So, because I was the one that asked for the divorce, I'm the one that left, on and on. So most of my friends disagreed with me. My longest friend that I have, and she is still my closest friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think, let's see, he is now. So it'll be 14 years now.
Oh, wow.
And talk about reinvention. She went from being a cosmetology student. I think when she had just graduated or something, 14 years later to owning her own.
Look at that.
Look at that, right? 2 years
Progress.
ago, leased her own hair salon. The place, the actual place.
Yeah.
And her name is the owner, and bought her own place. And now she has some really, really great women working for her. So
she makes sure she funnels in education in that business model. That'll definitely keep her business ecosystem going.
Yeah, she's phenomenal at work. So she's a hairstylist, but she's more as well. She considers herself top as a cut. But she cuts hair beautifully and everything. Anyway, point is that she is and we still, even when I'm in Germany, we still try and have a video chat often. We communicate with text quite a bit, actually. And but she is one of those people where she's past the wild card test, I say. So I have this stage I go through with people, and I love people, and I do, and I try not to be pessimistic or skeptical. I do try and practice what you preach, right? My own vulnerable. If I meet someone, I want to be vulnerable. Don't give the store away, but at least try and open up to where they feel like they're actually getting to know me and not just a version of myself. But I always think, after points, it either continues to grow or it's done. That's how kind of my friendship growth has come. And then there's a stage where I don't know, it's magical to me. I don't know. I don't have actual time in my head where I go, okay, they've gotten past the wild card stage, because there's so many times, whether it's been in the first month, the first year, first 5 years, where I go, whoa, did not expect that, for them to say that, do that, whatever. Right. And I don't want to pretend like I'm innocent or perfect in any relationship either, but I've had perfect example is I had these people in my life when I was married, these moms and wives who were very good friends. I was the one that nurtured the relationship. My ex-husband is great. He's a great guy, but of course, as a man, he was not the one to nurture them. I was. And then when I asked the divorce, they really just, it was purely the fact I was the one asking for the divorce. They didn't agree with it. And I'm a strong believer. You can disagree, but still love each other after for so long, 10 years of friendship. So it was a wild card. So Carmen has passed the wild card moment. And so whatever, we've traveled together quite a bit. She was in Paris with me. We've been to Italy together. That's another tester. I always tell my girlfriends who are single, travel with a dude,
Oh, of course.
travel with a woman. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
travel with
You
anybody.
find
A
out.
weekend
Find out.
travel is the first tester. I like doing road trips because
Yeah.
if we can't sit in silence
Yes.
comfortably, then that's a problem for me, because I don't always have, for me, I can't speak for every woman, I don't always have to talk. I could just be listening to music or just observing the scenery and stuff like that. I like road trip. I think road trips for me is like, oh, let's do a road trip. And they're like, oh, that'll be different. But yeah, traveling, that's definitely like a tester
It's good.
to see.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh man, I'm going to say my longest friend, I had to end that friendship. Unfortunately. Yeah, she was still doing some of the terrible, I'm not gonna say terrible, but just bad stuff in her 20s. And I'm just like, girl, it is a decade later.
Yeah.
I am 7 states later, 15 years later, 2 businesses over. Like, why are you still doing the same BS? And then you expect me to save you? No, like we just, this is a dead end. I just need to just kind of just end this. I'll just love you from afar.
They say you either grow with a friend or outgrow a friend. Like those are the two things. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think I have outgrown her. Best of luck to her, but
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm at a very clean slate right now.
Yeah.
Very clean, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm still out and about.
Yeah. It's still open. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. And
So
you have
what?
your team, right? And you have your
Of
team.
course. Yes. I love them, and my clients, they come and visit me or just check in with me. I just make a very comfortable environment. I don't like just say, hey, yeah, whatever, you're done, whatever. I like to build like a long-term like relationship. Doesn't matter if it's professional or just personal. So yeah. But once you've done something like wrong 2 times, it's like, all right, no, you gotta go.
Right.
Because I've had a talk with you. I've laid out. I'm very detail oriented, and you're still effing up. Like, yeah, no, you gotta go.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
So yeah. So what did you learn today?
What did I learn today?
What do you want to? What did you cheer? What do you want to cheers to? Is there something you want to? Did you learn anything, or did you? I done drunk up all my tea. What did you want to cheers to?
Well, I will cheers to, first of all, this experience. I love it, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, I really liked 2 things. One thing was to know someone on a level right off the bat. Because typically, like, you don't have these type of conversations when you're just sitting in a bar. You typically on the street, on a bus. Typically, it's like, okay, where are you from? You don't talk about straight off the bat. How do you communicate? How do you, like, it'd be great if people did this more, kind of be on the social niceties and why did you leave and pursue and explore other states and this type of thing. So that's the first thing. Having a deeper conversation right off the bat is perfect. Secondly, is really seeing someone that has a passion in such a methodical way.
I know.
Because usually it's one or the other, right? Usually it's the methodical people. I'm in a country where all methodical, logical engineer people, but they lack a bit of
charisma.
Passion.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. Wonderful. I love the different people. Or the other way, it's all passion, but there's really not a lot of substance. I know sometimes I can kind of like this. And so I it's really interesting to meet someone that has passion, but was a training athlete and a high athlete, has creativity, wheels going on all the time, but has a drive to write a book. So you have a really full brain, and that's been very. I cheers to your brain. That's that's a very.
Yeah, I could be definitely a nutcase at times. I know, but when it all comes together, you're gonna be like, it makes sense now. So,
So good. Yeah.
yes.
That's my learning experience.
I want to cheers to, it's so cool talking to someone from Germany, like a long extended conversation with someone from Germany. The person I was talking to, it was two people. We were on work. We were on production for fashion in Miami. So it wasn't like much talking. And we kind of just wanted to just like, hey, like, what do you like about here? So it wasn't like much in-depth conversation talking to the people from Germany, but I just thought it was just very interesting, them kind of just trying to get comfortable and kind of just get out of their shell. So just talking to you, it's just very in Europe, but you're from United States, you're not born there, so but you have probably adopted some of their ways, some of the things that they do into your life that's more suitable for you. So I think it's just very cheers to you just upping and going to Germany, and you actually had a family here. Unlike me, it would just be little old me. You just up and went to Germany and like completely started all over again. Whereas me, I was just like, oh, I got family on the other side of the coast, or oh, I got you completely like started all over again with everything in your life. So I want to cheers to that.
Thank you.
Yes. Man, it was so much fun. If you guys want to be eavesdropper, you guys can definitely call this number. It won't be me and it won't be Kim. But you can call and leave a voice message. Make sure you state the question. What do you do to reinvent yourself and your friendship? You call the number 202-480-9557, and we will input your audio in an episode, and we'll talk about it to see if we have any type of comparison. So yes, this is so much fun.
This was so much fun. I really appreciate it. Love it. Something different. Something to break up the day. Yeah.
Yes. I hope you guys enjoyed Gurl, my version of a digital girls' night out. We'll see you guys in another episode.